Boy at the cemetery. A few years ago, I was going to the cemetery with my mom to visit my grandpa. My grandpa is buried in Pinelon, on the side where the deceased are buried in slots in walls. Across the street and a little bit down the block from my grandpa, are my grandma's parents, who we also visit when we go visit my grandpa. Directly across the street from my grandpa's plot, is a wooded area where no one goes because there are no plots there, and next to that is a construction site where they are building more plots. So on this particular day, my mom and I were stopping by the cemetery, and then we were going to my aunt's house. It was raining pretty heavily, so we decided to sit in the car in front of the wall where my grandpa is and not get out, which we rarely do. My mom was looking over at my grandpa's plot, and I turned around and looked into the wooded area for a minute. Next to one of the trees, I saw a teenage boy, who looked about 15, with a black, almost mushroom haircut, a white shirt with red writing across it, red basketball shorts and sneakers. He was staring directly at me, expressionless, but looked just like you and me. The only thing that I thought was a little strange was that he was completely dry even though it was raining hard. I turned around to tell my mom to look at the boy in the woods just standing there in the rain, but when we looked back there was no one standing there. It would have been impossible for him to run out of sight that quickly, as I was only turned around for a second or two. Also, even if he had run, the only places he could have run to would have been by my grandfather's plot, or down the block, which both would have been visible to us. The construction site, where they're building more plots, is fenced off so no one can get in there. I was a little spooked but didn't think anything of it. A week later, it was much nicer out and we went back to the cemetery to visit my grandpa and my great-grandparents. When we were at my great-grandparents' plot, I started reading the plots of other deceased people. I was shocked when I looked over at the plot a few places away from my great-grandparents and saw a 15-year-old boy was buried there. For the past couple of years I've been trying to find records of him online or a picture of him, but it either costs a ton of money or I get different results as his name is pretty common. I will always wonder though if he was the boy I saw in the woods.